Bob here again for another episode of Cardboard. I am ready to play yet another game with my son Alex, and the game that I've chosen for today is a fun little game, a little hard to find these days. It's out of print, but I was lucky enough to find it in a half-price bookstore, and it looked charming, and I'm very glad I got it. It's called Frog Juice. And this is a game by GameRight. They're still in the business of making games, but this one, as I said, out of print. It is simply a deck of cards, beautifully illustrated, which represents either ingredients, like sun moon powder, newts, or some shrinking brew, and cards of power that have other effects than just serving as ingredients. For example, actual spells that you can cast by gathering up the correct ingredients. This gets you a fair amount of score in a hurry. Or black cats, which enable you to steal other cards of power from other players. One of the only cards that allows you to actually affect cards that have been scored. The witches, who allow you to sweep all of the face-up cards to your scoring piles. And the all-purpose witch wash, which is used to counter the witch. There's more witches than there are all-purpose witch wash, but it can be a little dangerous to use. So basically the game works like this. Each player starts out with 4 cards in their hand, and there are 4 face-up cards in front of all the players. This game is for 2 to 4 people. And the players take turns in a combination of war and go fish. The war part comes because you can take ingredient cards from the central pile by doing one of 2 things. Well, sorry, 3 things. You can match a card in your hand if it's the same as one of the cards that are out on the face-up pile. That allows you to take both of those cards and put it in front of you in your ingredient pile. These can't be affected by anybody else. You can't take out of them. They're just there towards helping you win the game. If you have multiple cards in your hand equaling the number value of the ingredient, for example, Deadly Nightshade here has an 11 value. That doesn't really matter in terms of the scoring, but I can take an ingredient worth 5 and an ingredient worth 6, put those 2 together, and I can take this Deadly Nightshade out. The other option you have is to take a card from your hand and take ingredient cards from in front of you, equaling the card that you have in your hand. So if I have this Deadly Nightshade, I could then take a ingredient value 6 and an ingredient value 5 and take both of those and put all 3 into my scoring pile. So that's half of the game. Light math, the highest value card is 12. So for kids who are learning math, this could be a useful little tool. It's light enough that it's not taxing on the brain. You can pick up this game and play it easily even after a long day of work. Trust me, I know. So you've got that going for you. And on top of that, you have these power cards that you have to worry about. Most of them, like the witch, is pretty self-explanatory. If you have it and you have the cards in front of you that high enough value to tempt you to use your witch, you just lay it down and grab all the cards and they go in front of you. The cards that are face-up are replenished because at the end of every player's turn they have to discard a card unless they have no other cards in their hand. Most of the time you will have a card in your hand, so you will constantly be replenishing the face-up cards. The number will fluctuate of how many there are up and down, but generally it stays fairly consistent at around 3 or 4 cards at a time. So when the number of cards build up, you can lay down your witch, grab all the cards. The witch wash is to stop somebody else from being able to do just that, turn it around and take all the cards they would have otherwise taken, including their witch. And of course, it can also be a strategy that if you play a witch yourself, you can immediately use witch wash on your own witch to stop somebody else from washing your witch. Sounds complicated, but it's actually fairly straightforward and simple. And then all those scored points come to you. Now, The one thing that really kind of shakes this game up are the spells, which I absolutely love. Each spell is kind of endearing. For example, this disappearing spell will make you vanish. It takes bats and unicorn horn, 2 ingredients. If you have the ingredients in your hand, you can play them with the spell, and immediately you can score the points. The ingredients go in the ingredients pile, the spell will go into your power cards pile. If you don't, and those cards are face up on the table, you can take those immediately and put them onto your spell. But until you have all of the ingredients, the spell is incomplete. The final step is you can ask each player in turn if they have an ingredient that you're missing, and if they have it, they have to give it to you. So that's the go fish part of it. Relatively simple, and you can do that every turn. You can keep canvassing the other players to see if they have the ingredient that you're missing. Since everybody is going to be replenishing their hands and spending cards, it's a good idea to keep up on that, because it's a good way to get cards out of your opponent's hands and help you to score. So the spell cards are actually really, really handy. There's a handful of them, and all of the different ingredients are covered by a spell card or two. So that's a really neat part of the game. As I said, the illustrations are these nice watercolor-looking pictures. They're just absolutely beautiful. All of them just nicely illustrated. The witches are funny. They're not scary. None of these things are really all that scary unless you think about, where does monkey powder really come from? The monkey doesn't seem to be too upset. None of the creatures are shown being harmed. So your titular frog juice, the frog is just standing there by the juice. Frog juice is the only card that is both an ingredient and a power card, just because it's the name of the game. So that is the 6 value ingredient. To win, you find out at the end of the game, after all the cards are done, after everybody's taken turns and nobody can play another card down, the cards that are still in people's hands are discarded. Incomplete spells are also discarded. So you look at all of the cards. Your cards should be in 2 piles if you've been doing it right, and you should make sure that you don't have power cards mixed into your ingredients. Power cards, each individual power card in your power card pile gives you 1 point. Then you count up the number of ingredients. Whichever player has the most number of ingredients gets 2 points, and if there's a tie, everybody who has the top number of ingredients gets 2 points. Just add all the points together, and whoever has the most wins. It's really quick and simple. There's not that many power cards to make this high math. So a lot of times it can be fairly obvious at a glance who has the most power cards, and sometimes it might not even matter. Somebody may have run away with the game by that point to not make counting up the individual ingredient cards necessary. That's just if it's a tense game and it's close, you'd still want to count up. So very fast-paced, cute, gorgeous cards. I think you're going to enjoy this, and I'm pretty sure Alex and I will as well. So thank you for joining us for this, and well, we'll play on for you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another round of CardBoard. I'm Rob.
I'm Alex.
And today we have a fun game called Frog Juice. Frog Juice is played by shuffling the deck of cards. Each person gets 4 cards for their hand.
Yes.
And then 4 cards are laid face up in front of us. There are 2 types of cards in this game. There are ingredient cards that have a number value, and the art on these cards is absolutely beautiful. One of the major draws of this game, quite honestly. So you can see a little bit better. And power cards, which do other things. For example, this witch, if one of us were to have that in our hand, we would be able to take all of the cards that are out with 1 move, which is good for scoring quite a few points. As it is, all she is worth is a point if we can capture her. So, Alex gets to go first. And basically how you play, you either take a card off the top by matching the point value on the ingredient, either by taking multiple cards by having 1 card in your hand that's equal to those values, or having a card that matches the value of one of the ingredient cards, or having multiple cards in your hand that matches the value. So for example, for this 8, if we had a 5 and a 3, we could take both of them. Cards that are taken go into a pile to consider for scoring later. Or you can play a power card, which you will see the power cards as we play. So Alex, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, since I have nothing to take,
Turn this just a little bit.
nothing that adds to anything on this deck, I will discard.
Okay. At the end of your turn, you always have to discard a card, and that moves it out onto the pile for others to consider. So, all right, you did that, and that ends your turn. My turn. I would check to make sure that I have 4 cards in my hand, which I do, and I will play a witch, which will allow me to sweep all of the cards. Now, Alex could have, there's one card that can block that effect. It's called the All-Purpose Witch Wash. You don't have one of those, do you? Okay. So what I do is I take the 2 power cards, because those are worth scoring at the end of the game. So those are both worth a point towards winning. And then I take all these ingredients. I don't get to use them or anything. They just go into a separate pile, which we later will consider who has the most ingredients. That will also score us points. Since these cards don't do anything anymore after they've come over, I'm just going to flip the ingredient cards face up, or face down. And then I have to discard, which I will put Star and Moon Dust. And now it's your turn, Alex.
Okay, I will take the moon dust and the moon dust, and I will...
So Alex had another Star and Moon Dust card, so he took that. And by matching it, those both go into his ingredient pile. So that's his turn. Now he's got a discard.
Yep.
With Drinking Potion, which is only a 1-point ingredient. Gonna be hard to match that. Now it's my turn. I draw back up to...
yeah.
Yep, I draw back up to 4, and obviously I don't have anything that's going to match the 1, so I'm just going to put down some newts, which are a 4-point ingredient, and it is now Alex's turn. Rounds can go very quickly, and this is not a very long game. You can get through the pile without too much drama.
Okie dokie. I will use Witch to sweep that away.
Okay.
Darn heels. And then place that on the power.
Yes.
Power pile.
Yes.
Excuse me.
And you discard. Bats. All right. My turn. Draw up to 4. I will take the bats with the bats. And I will put down toadstools.
Oh, crap.
And it is... That's okay. I wasn't looking at your cards. It's your turn.
Okay, good. Okay, okay. I will be trying to cast Disappearing Spell.
Okay, read the card.
Will make you vanish. Blend bats and unicorn horn. For your health, a smokeless version of this time-honored classic.
Okay, so, do you have either of the ingredients for that spell?
I have unicorn horn, and do you have bats?
Okay, when you are casting a spell, if you don't have all the ingredients for it, you can play basically like Go Fish and ask each of the players in turn if they have one of your ingredients. You can also take an ingredient if it's in one of the face down or face up cards in the middle. In this case, I do not have bats, which is going to leave the spell incomplete until he either draws a bat or I discard a bat. But on every turn, he can keep asking me if I have bats. So,
Okay.
but I don't. No, you have to discard.
I will discard toads.
All right. And it's my turn, so I will draw 2 cards. Now, him having that kind of puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage because I have to make sure that if I have any bats, I want to get rid of them if I can, so he doesn't get to score that. In this case, though, that's no worries, I don't. But I'm going to use this frog juice and this shrinking potion to take the toadstool.
Get that.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
And with that, toadstool, because it's the frog juice, because that's the name of the game, is a power card, even though it's also an ingredient, and that gets scored into my power point pile. And then for a discard, I will put down Deadly Nightshade. All right, your turn, Alex.
Okay. I will. Crap. I will have to discard toadstools.
Okay.
Oh, Dad, do you have bats?
Very good. You would have lost the opportunity if you hadn't. I do not have bats, however.
Poodles.
My turn. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I will use monkey powder and bats, which I just drew, to take the Deadly Nightshade.
Yeah, poodles.
Don't worry though, I'll discard Deadly Nightshade. Your turn.
Okay, okay. I'll have Deadly Nightshade with Deadly Nightshade for
Okay.
that. And that would be alright.
You have to discard yet.
Yeah, crap, I forgot. I will...
There we go. Put down unicorn horn. Okay. My turn. Draw back up to...
This will totally be madness. Sorry.
Okay. I will use frog juice and shrinking potion to take this toadstool.
Okay.
By using the frog juices, it gets me another power point, which is used for scoring at the end of the game, which is useful. Okay, now it's your turn.
Do you have bats?
I do have bats.
Hey.
Wasn't able to get rid of the bats. Actually, probably I could use them to take the unicorn horn, but I didn't.
Yep. Okie dokies.
So now you draw up to 4.
Here. Poodles.
Wrecking the pile.
No. I will have ye old Prince the Frog spell.
Read the card.
Blend frog juice and shrinking brew. Add 1 prince. Caution, warts may not be reversible.
Aha. Okay, so do you have any of those ingredients?
Nope.
Okay.
Do you have frog juice?
I do not. Now you have to discard.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
Discard toads.
Okay. My turn. 2, 3. I will use mice and toads to take the unicorn horn. Your turn. Oh wait, I got to discard. Discard once.
Okay. Took 2. I will play Toadstool with newts and toads.
All
And I
right.
will use a black cat to get rid of your...
No. Black cat takes a
Oh, yeah.
power card from me to you.
So, can I put...
Nope.
Okay.
It goes right to your scoring pile.
Shoot.
Scoring pile. There you go.
Shoot.
Okay. Anything else? Discard. Yeah, discard.
I will take away the fair maiden.
Ooh, cool. Alright, my turn.
There's their
1,
smoke-looking face.
2, 3. I will take the fair maid with the prince. Yoink. And I will put down mice. Your turn.
Okay. Put that away. Ooh, I will put Frog. Prince the Frog. And
That's putting frog juice on as an ingredient. That's an extra thing that does not count as an action to finish an incomplete spell.
do you have Shrinking Brew?
I do not. No, you must discard.
I will discard Monkey Powder.
Okay. My turn.
That must be like
Draw.
a anti-itching.
I will cast a traditional anti-gravity spell. That is softly chant and mix monkey powder and star and moon dust. Caution: do not use in rooms with low ceilings or under bridges. That allows me to take the monkey powder. And now I'll look for star and moon dust. Do you have star and moon dust?
No, I don't.
Darn it. Okay, my turn then. To finish off, I must discard Newts. Your turn.
Poodles. I'm gonna discard Moon Dust.
Okay,
And let's-
you're done?
Yep.
Alright.
Ah, shoot.
Well, I take the moon dust. That finishes off my spell.
I had a problem.
And I draw 2. And we'll go for casting the Eternal Sleep spell. Mix Deadly Nightshade with boiled toadstools. Used the world over, this spell was made famous for its application in the case of Sleeping Beauty. Warning: brew outdoors and do not taste or sniff. Do you have Deadly Nightshade?
Nope.
Okay. Then in that case, I will discard mice. Your turn.
Oh. Can I take 3 at once?
You can. If you have the point value, which you
Yep.
do.
Drawn. There we go. Fabulous. And I will discard Toads.
Alright. My turn. I'll draw 2. 1, 2. And I will discard Newts.
Okay.
Your turn.
Well, is the furnace
Your
making...
turn. Your turn. It'll be fine.
Ah, crap. 2 cards left. I will use Witch, and I will use All-Purpose Witch Wash.
Basically, that blocks any chance I would have of using Witch Wash to steal the cards that he is taking with the Witch.
Wouldn't that sacrifice a Witch?
Takes care of everything for you. Leaves a very clean Witch.
Oh my goodness. Ay, ay, ay. Okay.
And now you have to discard.
I will discard Deadly Nightshade.
Okay. Well.
Oh, I forgot to tell.
Take the deadly.
Did I?
Nightshade. You already discarded. Your turn's over.
Crap.
I will take the deadly nightshade for that. I will draw. And since I have nothing to put down, I will discard the drinking potion. Your turn.
Okay. I will take the shrinking brew.
Yep.
For that ingredient. And do you have one prince?
I actually do. Yes, that turned out nicely for you.
Did not know that. Did not know.
Yeah, I just drew it.
And can you discard a spell?
Yes.
Okay, I will discard a spell, and since there's no,
Well, you would play it really,
I will play
even if it has no chance of coming out.
uglifying spell.
Okay. Which needs newts and mice. I have neither.
And toads.
So you have to discard now.
I will discard monkey powder.
Okay. Since I can't take monkey powder, all I can do is discard myself,
It's
which
monkey
is
power.
the unicorn horn and frog juice. So these go away. This spell is incomplete. That doesn't count. Go through your. This spell wasn't completed, so this doesn't count. Go through your ingredients and make sure you didn't leave any power cards in there. I think you grabbed a witch or two and stuffed it in there.
Oh, yep. No, wait.
So to figure out who wins, basically we take all the power cards. Each one of those counts as 1 point. We then count up the number of ingredient cards we have. Whoever has the most ingredients, the value doesn't matter, but whoever has the most gets 2 points.
Nope.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay, so count up the number of power cards you have.
So count.
Well, he has 7 and I have 4, so he's going to win no matter what and how many ingredient cards we have. But you can count the ingredient cards, see if you overkill. And he beat me in the number of ingredient cards too. So Alex is going to win this this round of cardboard. Frog Juice, nice quick game, beautiful art, competitive. Lets you work your brain a little bit with counting. What did you think, Alex?
It was fun. It was certainly fun. I have never played this game.
Nor have I. This is a first for both of us.
Yep.
But we played one practice round, and it came really quickly. So
this is what makes this game. This game practically goes by fast.
yes, it does.
Just like time.
All right. Thank you for joining us for this round of cardboard. Until next time, I'm Rob,
I'm Alex.
and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Yep. Goodbye.